but that time that I spent with him and the words of encouragement. And he would often say that, son, you know, you have done some things that I would have never even dreamed possible when I was a kid. And he lived through me, and I'm quite certain that your mothers and sisters or others are probably living through your success. And I think it's important for us to realize that, you know, we're kind of role models whether we realize it or not. People see you, and hopefully they will emulate the positive qualities that you have. And that's what I'm hoping that tonight our viewers will look at the two of you as being individuals who have overcome some obstacles, who have ended up in positions that you didn't envision, but the opportunity was there and you were prepared, and more important, you were interested in doing those kinds of things. Also, you mentioned having children, and that's another responsibility that a female, when they go into positions, sometimes you got to balance your time,
right?
You know, and that's challenging. Not that men shouldn't have the same responsibility, but again, the workload primarily falls on the wife, the mother, or whatever. How did you handle that? I know you kind of touched on it, the fact that the one was taking up so much time that you had to go so you could spend more time with the kids.
Right. I think certainly when your kids are younger, it's very challenging when you have to, you work, and I mean the job of a working mother is, it seems like it's never over.
Right.
It's endless. You know, you've got to get the kids ready, which I think to have children, period, is a gift. It's a blessing. Right. And I'm really thankful that I have two sons. But you've got to get them to the daycare. You know, you've got to, if something goes wrong, they get sick, you're already worrying about them sometimes while you're at your work day, especially if they've been ill, you got to get them to the doctor. You have a lot of sleepless nights.
Right.
You know, it just goes on and on and on. You got to pack lunches. You've got to, as I did, be involved in their school life. You've got to be at those PTO meetings. You got parent-teachers conferences. You want to be there for them every step of the way. And it is and you know, have a husband, your job, you're trying to balance all of this. And there are times when it can become very overwhelming. Okay, and then it seems as though when they're younger, there's really not a whole lot of time left for you. But as they get older, my two sons now, my oldest just turned 25 yesterday.
Okay.
And the other will be 23 in May. And you know, there's a breather because, you know, they're older. You don't have to, although one's in school, there's some things you still have to do, but it's nothing like they can pretty much take care of themselves. It's nothing like what it is, you know, when they were younger. But I wouldn't trade having children and that experience for anything.
Well, I take my hat off to you for not only your success in terms of your professional development, but more important, you're being a mother and being there and raising your kids and that type of a thing. So, Rachael, did you have any children that you had to overlook or raise?
I have two. Actually, our boys played basketball together for some of the summers. But yeah, my daughter, she'll be 19 on St. Patrick's Day, and then my son will be 21 in June. So I had the two. But I agree with Brenda, it's a balancing act, and it's rough, but we still wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Well, I think you're a living example that it's not impossible. It may be challenging, it may be difficult, but it's not impossible. And I think that that's what we've got to instill in people, is that anything and everything is possible. You just got to be determined, and you got to have a goal, and you got to stick to it. It helps to have support, encouragement, and help. But I have a feeling that you folks would have made it without that, because you were determined to make it. And there are some people out there listening tonight who are females that may have children, that have dreams, and may or may not have encouragement from a family member, from the male or whoever. But if you want it bad enough, you can do it.
That's right. I have a stepdaughter who got her nursing degree, and she had a baby that she was trying to take care of, but she made it through and graduated from Methodist School of Nursing and doing real good. So if you, like you said, if you're determined, it will happen.
And I think too that there has to be something on the inside.
That's right.
You know, a lot of individuals, they can tell you what to do, they can offer that encouragement, but you are the one that has to start
Really
believing it on the inside.
That's right.
And make something happen. It's almost like you said, talk to yourself. You got to make something happen on the inside. You got to want it bad enough so that you go after it, you know, no matter what.
A person can't make you successful, and a person can't make you failure. Only you can do that. I think it was Henry Ford or somebody who says, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And you determine whether you can or whether you can't. And as I said, it's great to have the road that's smooth going to where you're going, but a lot of times there are detours. A lot of times there are road bumps. A lot of times road is under construction and you got to come to a stop. But you stay on the road and you owe it, first of all, to yourself. And that's not being egotistic, that's not being selfish. Life isn't a dress rehearsal. And whether you're rich or poor, whether you're black or white, we all have the same amount of time in life, 60 minutes to an hour, 24 hours to a day. It's how we use that time, and it puts us in a position to help others. So if, as a mother, as a father, or whatever, if you're successful, then that gives a better chance for your children to be able to have some things so that you can share. And so it's kind of a rippling effect. But it begins with you. It begins with you.
And I think no matter what your age is, if you just look, my son, you know, shared this with me in a book that he read called The Slight Edge.
Yes.
And if you just look at the things, the little things that you do every day, and ask yourself, is this something that's going to really help me in my future, or is this something that I'm doing that it's not going to really get me anywhere? And I think that sometimes can be the difference between, you know, an average person and an above average person. But also, I tell individuals that I run into in our staff, be careful how you treat people.
Absolutely.
Because you never know, that person that you mistreat, that may be the very person that may have to come to your aid someday.
That's absolutely right. Well, ladies, I tell you, I want to thank you for sharing your experiences and your wisdom and words of motivation, and I wish the two of you well, and I'm quite certain that the two of you are going to do well because you're grounded and you're focused and you're proud of who you are and where you're going, and I'm quite certain with God's support and leadership, you'll continue to leave footprints in the sands of Peoria. And long after you may be gone, somebody will be talking about Rachael and Brenda. And that's what makes the difference, is leaving the legacy as far as who you were, what you did, and why you did it. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back.
Captain's News on the Go. We're at the Dream Center with Joyce Banks, who is the Shwari Chingo Project Coordinator for PCCEO, who is a partner in the Community Call to Action to Reduce Violence. And another forum was held here on a Saturday morning. Joyce, what was the purpose of the second Community Call to Action forum?
Well, today there were a couple of things we wanted to accomplish. One was to give the participants information about and real data on crime and poverty and those issues that we wanted to be able to select an area of the community to place our focus. And that was accomplished today. It was the group in attendance decided that the South Side would be the area of focus for this upcoming year. Right now, the individuals are meeting in 4 breakout sessions, and in those breakout sessions, we will be deciding what we will do in each area, whether ex-offenders or school-based or juvenile justice, parenting. What will we do in those 4 areas in the South Side to work with South Siders to improve the condition of the community?